What's up, everybody? It's your favorite hood healer. It's your favorite hood high priestess. It's your favorite motivational dominatrix. It's your favorite auntie, captain, goddess, king. LadySpeech in the place to be, and I want to welcome you back to my channel. You could be anywhere in the world. As a matter of fact, you are somewhere in the world, and you're also choosing to share the currency of your time and space with me. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Your attention is valuable, and you're giving me a bit of it. So I appreciate you for that. If you like what I'm doing, if you like what you see, if you're feeling this, and if you're feeling me, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. And make sure you hit the notification bell, so you can keep up with all of my shenanigans, all of my shenanigans, all of my shenanigans, all of my shenanigans. I'm here for you. Anytime you press play or anytime you press replay. Now, let's get into today's video, shall we? As you can see from the title of today's video, we're gonna get into something juicy and what I feel is needed. Also, this has been asked in a roundabout way. I get this question a lot, like in being a reader, a diviner, being a spiritual guide, guru, teacher. I get this question a lot, being a creator who shares a lot in regards to spirituality on the social media spaces, the interwebs, on Beyonce's internet. I get this question a lot, and it's basic in a lot of different forms, but it's basically a question from new witches, from new spiritualists, from people who are beginning their spiritual journey. And they're always like, do you have any tips and tricks for me as I am beginning my spiritual journey? And of course I do. Of course I do. I 1000% do. So this is what this video is all about today. It is a space where you can gain some tips and tricks for beginning your spiritual journey if you happen to be in that position. And also, this is a reminder, even though you might be someone watching this and you're deep into your spiritual journey, which is awesome, you're years into your spiritual journey, but we all know if you've been walking this path for years, something that comes up on a regular basis consistently is the fact that don't forget the basics. We shouldn't forget the basics. We should not forget the basics. And sometimes we need a reminder. We need a reminder. There's times when you get so deep in your spiritual game, you know a lot, you've collected a lot, you've done all the things, and you forget that the basics is the basis and always a great place to return to. So this is pretty much for anybody, but especially for those of you who are new baby witches, new spiritualists, new folks stepping out on a new foot in regards to your spiritual journey. I've got 4 tips for you, so let's get into it. Tip number 1, which I believe is the foundational tip when you are beginning a new spiritual journey, okay? And this tip is confront, dissect, decolonize, and heal from your former religious or spiritual experience. Let me say that again. Confront, dissect, decolonize, and heal from your former religious or spiritual experience. What do I mean by that? Before you set your sights on a new goal, before you set your sights on a new spiritual path, before you set your sights on a new journey and spiritual destination, you must acknowledge where you came from and what made you. You must acknowledge the experiences of your former religious or spiritual experience, especially if you experienced spiritual abuse or other types of abuse up under that previous experience, spiritual or religious experience. Also, if you're coming from the Judeo-Christian Islamic perspective, you're definitely going to need to confront what happened to you and all the things that you are bringing with, the baggage you are bringing with from those spaces. And it doesn't even matter. There are some people who transition from being pagan and mystical and magical into Christianity. There's some people who are transitioning from being Christian or Muslim into a more mystical aspect of life. There are those of you who maybe you were raised in the voodoo, you were raised in Santeria, you were raised in Paulo, and you're transitioning to something else. You're transitioning to Ifa, you're transitioning to Christianity, you're Islam, you're transitioning to another African traditional religion. You're coming from Wicca to, I don't know, Celtic Norse paganism, okay? No matter what your transition looks like, what you're moving from, what you're moving into, it's going to be really, really important that you acknowledge where you came from and acknowledge the things that are associated with that. So if you had, like I said, if you experienced any type of abuse, that needs to be named and acknowledged. You need to confront your past, whatever that means. And this also can apply to agnostics and atheists too. Confronting your past, no matter where you're coming from, is going to give you a firm foundation for the future. Understanding how you got to where you were and why you're leaving what you're leaving, okay? That's going to be important. Dissecting it, picking through your experience with a fine-tooth comb, you know, decolonizing from it. You are going to bring ideologies. You are going to bring thought processes. You are going to bring your training from your previous space into this space. So there's a need to decolonize it, to unravel it, you know. There's a need to heal, especially if you have experienced, you left for a reason. So there's probably something that you need to heal from up under, all right? And also, if you're coming from a religion that is a colonizer religion, and just so we're clear, there is beautiful things about Christianity, beautiful things about Islam, beautiful things about Judaism, and all three of those have been used very brutally to colonize people and to take resources, okay? There is beauty in all of that, and there's also, on a political level, some ugliness of it. So even if you are transitioning from a space where it was actually good, you're just not connected to Creator and God in that way, that's awesome. No trauma, no everything, anything like that, that's good. Please understand, especially if you're coming from a religion that has some colonizer tendencies in it, you're gonna need to address that, okay? This is also, it's important to say that this is lifelong work, all right? Before you begin your spiritual journey, I believe it's really important to have a good foundation in this step. And it's also important to realize that you're going to continue confronting, decolonizing, healing, addressing these things that have happened in your past in regards to your previous religious or spiritual experience. You're going to continue to do that work the whole time, you know. If you have been a follower of me and on this channel, you know that I am a former Jehovah's Witness. I was raised as that for a good chunk of my childhood. And so the whole series that I do on this channel is for me to A, offer up information, but B, for me to continue to heal, for me to continue to unpack. I left being a Jehovah's Witness at 18 years old. I was done in my heart with Jehovah's Witnesses at 17. I was raised, when I was raised, I gave it my all on a conscious level from about 15 to 16, about 15 to 17, right before I turned 17. And then I was like, nah, this is not for me. I had to fake it till I made it. I had to, because that was the house that I was in, so I had to keep participating. But I knew as soon as I left at 18 that this wasn't gonna be for me. And so from that moment, I've been working on healing and confronting and looking at the things inside of me that happened because of, you know, being a Jehovah's Witness. And that's lifelong work. I've been doing that work for years, and I will continue to do that work for years, okay? So it's really important to understand that before you begin that spiritual journey, get yourself in the habit. Get yourself in the spirit of confronting that. This is gonna be a beautiful thing too, because as you move into your new spiritual journey, you're going to take, like I said earlier, training. You're going to take ideologies. You're going to take things from your old religious spiritual space and apply them automatically and through default to your new spiritual system. And a lot of those things are not going to synchronize and meld and match up. And so if you are already in the habit of confronting this old part of you, when these new parts of you come up, or when you encounter these intersections, you'll be able to deal with them better, okay? Because I'm gonna tell you, coming from being a Jehovah's Witness and then moving into practicing this magic, oh Lord, The first time I started seeing paranormal things, the first time the spirits was active in my life outside of just in the voices with my head and in my head, the first time I saw evidence, the first time I built my first altar, good Lord, I was troubled. It was beautiful and affirming, and there was a part of me, most of me felt like, man, this is my home, I found my home. But there was a part of me that was the colonized, that was the indoctrinated aspect of me that had issues with so many of the new things that I was doing, simply because it was going against my training. So you have to actively look at that, actively work with that, actively process that, so that stuff doesn't get in the way of your spiritual practice. I've watched a few of my friends and a few practitioners be called into the life, and they do not fulfill their purpose because they did not properly and they don't consistently process what it is to come from, you know, their old spiritual spaces. This happens a lot with Jehovah's Witnesses. I've watched a lot of Jehovah's Witness folks transition from the faith, but because they never really healed themselves around the faith, they end up going back, but they don't like it. Like, being a Jehovah's Witness isn't something that resonates with them. It isn't something that they connect with, but they never processed what they needed to process in leaving that religion, so they didn't have a firm enough foundation to move forward in this new spiritual space. So again, confront it all. Dissect it all. You know what I'm saying? Like, heal it all and decolonize from it all on a regular basis. Tip number 2, develop a strong relationship with yourself in order to trust your intuition, your instincts, and your thoughts, okay? This is going to be very important. As you enter into this new spiritual journey, as you are waking up, you are going to start hitting the radar of a lot of people. Good spirits, bad spirits, good people, bad people, all right? Developing a strong relationship with yourself so that you trust your instincts, your intuition, and your thoughts will help you to avoid so many unnecessary situations and not so great teachers and information that isn't going to assist you on your spiritual journey and path. It's very important to trust your instincts. It's very important to trust your instincts. There have been times when there have been teachers who have come to me and who offered to teach me, offered to lead me, offered to, help me to elevate in my path and purpose. And everything that they presented was amazing, beautiful, and divine. They looked great on paper, but my spidey sense, my tummy was like, don't trust them, girl. Don't trust them, king. Don't trust them. No. And trusting my instincts has saved me from so much. Anytime I haven't followed my intuition, I've gotten into trouble. Anytime I went against my gut feeling, I've gotten into trouble. Anytime I didn't trust my instincts, I've gotten into trouble. Also, you need to be able to trust your thought process. Sometimes it's not my intuition or my instinct that leads me to the truth about someone. Sometimes it's my powers of deduction. Sometimes it's like the way that my thoughts work. Sometimes it's the way that I see things, the way that I observe, the way that I think, that put something together in a way that other people can't. And I end up seeing something that other people can't see. So this is going to, all the points, I'm always like, this is the most important part. This is not, all of the points that I'm giving are important. But this part right here is going to be important. You need to be able to trust yourself. Anytime I come across a teacher that resonates with me, I know immediately if that piece of information, if that reading, if that, session that they're given generally is for me. I pretty much know instantly as well when there is a teacher for me. And I also trust my instincts to tell me when that relationship is going to end. My introduction into voodoo, I was brought into the fold by a wonderful person. She's human. She's got her humanity up before her, but she's got a lot of really wonderful things, some not so great things, like all of us. like all of us. But she pulled this spirit, the Lawa, pulled me into her soyasete, and they pulled me to her, and I needed that. There was information, the readings that she gave me, the 2 readings that she gave me very important information, and the Lawa were able to come and speak to me and say, come on home, child. They definitely used her to tell me that I need to be home and that voodoo was my birthright, okay? So she spoke in the way that I needed her to speak. She gave me the messages that I needed. Now, she wasn't to be my teacher, my full-time regular teacher. I wasn't to join her soyasete. I wasn't to initiate under her. The purpose she served in my life was to be a portal between the Lawa and myself. That was her purpose. Her purpose was to welcome me home. And she said the things in the ways that I needed her to say them. But our road had an ending. And that's not a bad thing. Our road had an ending. Ultimately, had I gone against my instincts, it wouldn't have been good for either of us. I'm not the right student for her, and she's not the right teacher for me. And in the end, that's what really is what it is. Her leadership style doesn't fit me. This is the thing about being able to trust your thoughts. Because I know what type of student I am, and I also know how I learn best and the energies I learn best up under, I'm able to trust that. So even though if someone can give me all the best spiritual information, if they can't teach me in the ways that I need to learn, this isn't gonna work out well. And also if they don't have the right type of personality that will meld with mine, this isn't gonna work out well, okay? So being able to trust your instincts and your intuition will allow you to not go to ceremonies that you don't need to. It'll allow you to stay away from the books that you don't need to. It'll also bring the books, the people, the resources that you absolutely need to move forward in your pathway. Being able to trust your thoughts, being able to trust your instincts will just help you so much on this path. Remember, there are a lot of good, godly, goddess, divine people doing this. There are a lot of really amazing people who have reclaimed their indigeneity. They are re-indigenizing. They are reclaiming traditions. We are working with our ancestors. We are healing. We are genuine. There's a lot of good people out there. There's a lot of us doing really good work. Never, ever, 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 ever get too far past the fact that just like there's bad Christians, there are bad Muslims, there are bad Wiccans, there are bad, Native American priests and medicine men and women. They're not called priests, but there are bad Native American, medicine people. There are bad, folks who practitioners of voodoo. There are bad practitioners of leukemia. There are people who straight up sell snake oil. There are people who will take advantage of you, and there are powerful people. There are people who, their magic is potent and powerful. It ain't for nothing good, but it is potent and powerful. So being able to trust your instincts, being able to trust your intuition, being able to trust your thought process will keep you from so much. It will keep you from so much. It will keep you from so much. And it'll also introduce you to so much. Not only do I avoid things, but I'm also able to get things. So many times my ancestors have been like, go here, stop here, stop here. I have found a book, I have found the teacher, I have found a resource, I have found the perfect jar, I have found an ingredient. You will also, I have found a comrade, a peer, all of it, all of it, all of it. So just trust your instincts. Trust your instincts and do the healing work. If you don't trust yourself, then that's where you need to do some healing work. You need to do some healing work and unpacking around why you don't trust your instincts and how you got here. You need to do some healing work and some unpacking about why you don't trust your intuition and how you got here. You need to do some packing around why you don't trust your thought process and how you got here. Addressing any abuse, addressing any of that. This is also going to be important too, because you're going to bring your issues into this faith, this new spiritual journey, all right? So being able to know yourself, this is kind of a tangent, but being able to trust yourself, trust your thoughts, you'll be able to keep an eye on yourself. Here's the thing. When I know my thoughts and when I know myself and when I know my issues, it helps me to stop attracting those issues in teachers. I definitely have dealt with mother issues. So mother issues actually comes up quite a bit, or it used to come up quite a bit in regards to my teachers in my faith and my spirituality. The deeper I heal and get to know myself and understand myself, when I see those issues come up in a bad way and in a healthy way, I can then proceed accordingly. So that's that second tip. Get it done. Third tip, baby. Develop a relationship with your spiritual team, okay? Develop a solid, firm relationship with your spiritual team. And these are going to be several relationships. If you believe in one God, one creator, then you need to be very firm in your relationship with that creator. But your spiritual team is also your ancestors. So after your creator, you are developing a firm relationship with your ancestors. You are developing a firm relationship with any animal spirit guides that guide you. Not spirit animals. Notice I didn't say that. I spirit animal guides. A lot of us come from traditions and are entering in traditions where the animals work with the spirits and they help to guide us in that way. Okay, so that might be a part of your spiritual team. You might have some guardian angels that are part of your spiritual team. Y'all have warriors that are part of your spiritual team. You know what I'm saying? You have deities that have been following your lineage and your line for years and generations are part of your spiritual team. So identifying who's on your spiritual team, and before you begin, there's a lot of people who are like, I didn't have a spiritual team. Yes, you do. We all have a spiritual team. We do. You're just not in connection with them and you don't feel how they're connected to you. But your spiritual team is very much connected to you and you are connected to them. In regards to connecting with your spiritual team, I want you to take comfort in the fact that, listen clear, listen up, and listen good. You have always, from the moment you entered Earthside, been connected to your spiritual team. They are always in connection and in communication with you. Now, many of us are open to that communication. Most of us are not. And then even after you get open to that communication, you must develop and learn that communication. Developing a relationship with your spiritual team is like developing a relationship with people. It's a relationship. The way that my spirit guides speak to me and commune with me and interact with me is different than the way that my ancestors speak to me, interact with me and commune with me is different than the way the Orisha interact with me is different than the way my Loa communicate with me. It's different than the way my God, Goddess, Creator communicates with me. But because I pursue on a regular basis a relationship with everybody on my spiritual team, I know how we get down. This is going to help you receive your guidance quick, fast, and in a hurry. When you develop a strong relationship with your spiritual team, that means you can listen to them and trust their guidance. This is going to save you from a whole bunch of bullshit. It's going to save you from bad teachers. It's going to save you from unnecessary, dangerous situations. It's going to save you. I am loyal to my faith, my purpose, my path, and my spiritual team. Everybody else, it's dependent on them. You need to recognize too, this is important because the people who lead you, your gurus, your guides, are human and they're gonna make mistakes. In the middle of a ritual, preceding a ritual, they might say something that's wrong or they might just make a general mistake. Your spirit guides can help you avoid when they make a mistake, and so you don't have to handle that. I remember my old mom, Bo, she wanted me to come down to Haiti for a particular ritual, and I was down. And even the spirits initially were like, yeah, let's do this. A couple months in, energy shifted, and the spirits were like, no, you're not gonna go down there for the ritual. Anytime I make the effort, anytime it just, no. Like different folks in my spiritual team took turns shutting it down. And I got it quickly like, okay, not supposed to go there. And my old mom Bo was like, come on, why aren't you coming down there? You really need to be down there. You really need to be down there. Didn't end up going and making that trip. She ends up calling me and was like, you did not need to be there, and I'm actually really happy you didn't come because that didn't go like I wanted. That didn't go like we needed, and you would have wasted money. And I was like, yep, my spirits told me not to go. And she was like, good job listening to your spirits, okay? So listen, when you skip over this step, this is what gets y'all caught up in following fatphobic, transphobic, homophobic leaders. This is what gets y'all caught up in following leaders who are abusive, who will take advantage of you. My spirits, my ancestors want me to win, and they do not want me to be abused. They do not want me to get caught up. They do not actually want me in messed up situations that are detrimental to me. They are working their behinds off on the other side to guarantee a successful future for me, and they are giving me and offering me guidance to help me do that. When I listen to that guidance, I'm never, ever, 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 ever going to the wrong place. They protect me. They make sure that, like, there's been teachers like, let me teach you, be my student. And as much as I've wanted to, it's been like, no. Because my ancestors said no. And it could be for a lot of reasons. You and I, your leadership skills don't match with mine. I'm not the right student for you. You'll have in my raw skill level, some of it has been like, you want to teach me, but because of the way that I'm presenting, you actually don't realize that I'm at a higher level than you. Like, that I'm gonna need someone who is more expensive than you. You know, when you trust your spiritual team, when you develop that firm relationship with your spiritual team, you can go anywhere, you can do anything. I do not feel afraid moving out into this world, but I listen to my ancestors from the smallest thing. And that's not just spiritually. I can be driving down the street and spirit be like, turn here. Okay, we can take a different route. What? I might be on the way to the store and the spirit might be like, we ain't going to that store today. Cool, I will go somewhere else. I have avoided so much drama, so much pain, so much trauma, so much BS, because I've been able to listen to their guidance. So develop a strong relationship with yourself, your ancestors, your spiritual team, and watch your practice thrive. All right, and my last tip and trick for new witches, new spiritualists, beginners in your new spiritual journey is to focus on spiritual cleansing. After you've got all of that in place, focus on spiritual cleansing, developing the ways according to your faith and your tradition that help you cleanse, and according to, you know, your spirit guides, your people, your deities who you're working with, and protection. Okay, those are going to be two very important things. Being able to energetically cleanse yourself, no matter what faith you are working with, is so important. Every day you're moving about this world and you pick up spiritual energetic residue. So most traditions have spaces and ways to cleanse yourself. Even, you know, in Islam and in Judaism and in Christianity, prayer is often, that takes care of both. It's a way to cleanse, it's a way to connect, it's a way to protect. So focusing in on learning the ways of, in many ways as possible in your realm of cleansing and protection are gonna be where it's at. You, even in dealing with your covens or your ilays or your soya sets or your, you know, whatever, your worshiping groups, we love each other. Hopefully you're communing with people who are of like minds and good for you. But even then, like, we pick up each other's spiritual residue that we don't need to be carrying around, okay? So being able to cleanse yourself spiritually, being able to get the negativity off is going to be super important. And being able to protect yourself is going to be important as well. Again, not everybody's good people. You might join in Ile, a house, a space where, like, you get along perfectly with, like, your mother, your father, your priest, your shaman, your guru, your guide. You get along well with most of the people, but that bitch in the corner, that chick over there, that dude over there, that person over there, So protection is going to help you stay protected. It's going to help you be protected. It's going to help you not have to throw. And what I mean by throw is, You'll see if you get into more of the magical side of things. There's witchcraft, depending on which side of this that you fall on. The craft, the magics, all that stuff. There are people who use it to give life. There are people who use it to take life. There are people who use it in between. There's baneful magic. There's light magic. There's all kinds of stuff. But you won't deal with a lot of that stuff, no matter what perspective you're coming from, be it Christian, be it magical, be it, you know, Judaism, be it Islam. You won't deal with a lot of hate, spiritually or otherwise, when you were good at A, cleansing your energy, cleansing your space, and B, protecting yourself. I very rarely have to square up on folks energetically. And even when people throw at me, I very rarely have to square up. My protection is so consistent, so regular, and so about that. Also, that happens to be a personal specialty of mine, is that I don't have to. A lot of times I get thrown at and that bloop, bloop, it falls. I keeps my protection. So I'm not even gonna fight you back. Like, you wanna throw some brujeria at me that's about messing up my world, go ahead and do it. Because I keeps with my protection. And then when the things that do permeate or penetrate, then I have ways to deal with that as well. So working on ways and developing all the ways of cleansing and protection, being consistent about that, is going to be super helpful on this spiritual journey. It'll keep away a lot of crazy stuff. It'll keep away a lot of the BS. The cleansing, if you're following all these other steps, you will not be mucked and mired. You won't meet a lot of muck and mire in the spiritual space, but you still will meet it. You still will encounter it. So being able to cleanse, being able to protect yourself is going to work wonders. All right, y'all, that's it, and that's all. That was my top 4 tips and tricks for the new spiritualists, for the new witches, for the new root workers, for the new conjurers, for the new hoodoo-thons, for the new whoever, for the new people who are walking a new spiritual journey. These are my top 4 tips and tricks for you. Let me know in the comments if any of these have resonated with you. Let me know in the comments if you feel in this, if you connect with this, if this was helpful for you. I probably will revisit this, you know, subject again on this channel, and upload 4 different tips and tricks for beginners when it comes to your spiritual journey. But I'm grateful that I'm able to put this information out there, and this information was super helpful for me and continues to be helpful. Like I said, like, this video is for definitely targeting new folks, but I think there's a lot of old school people who we can stand to get good things from things like this. Like, it's reminders. These are the basics, and if you master the basics of any faith, of any craft, that's your foundation. And oftentimes you need to go and revisit the basics even as you enhance and grow. It is paramount, and it's needed to go revisit the basics in order to help keep your foundation strong. So these are some basics. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you made it to the end of this video, gold star for you. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for spending some time with me. Thank you for liking, subscribing. If you've liked, if you subscribed, if you got my note, if you're watching this because you got a notification, thank you, thank you, thank you. You know the drill. If you like what I'm doing, if you like what you see, if you're feeling this, and if you're feeling me, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. And make sure you hit the notifications bell so you can keep up with all of my shenanigans. I'm here for you anytime you press play and anytime you press replay. Also, if you benefit from this content, if you benefit from these videos, if you benefit from the things that I produce, ways that you can help me is by sharing my work. Sharing it across platforms, social media, exposing it to other people helps. Watching my video all the way through, that helps and sends a message to all of the platforms that you like what I'm doing. Subscribing, following, those are really amazing and beautiful and help me out in the end. Your financial appreciation. My Cash App is LadySpeech. My Venmo is LadySpeech Sankofa, and my PayPal is LadySpeechSankofa@gmail.com. Thank you so much for what you do for me. Thank you for participating. Thank y'all for keeping it super cute in the comments. And thank you for your time and attention. And I'll see you in the next video. Peace.